What's up, y'all? It's Stuck in Carbonite, and today I'm just gonna go over a bunch of crap that's happened because just recently we had San Diego Comic Con, which means a bunch of releases where Hasbro and every other company known to man wants to release literally everything that we all can afford at once. Some of you can, but not me. So welcome to the Broke Club. If if you're with me, just let me know in the comments. This time of year, it's hard to make decisions, and I know that some of these things are set out so far in advance, but it's like some things from SDCC are like readily available to where you can literally have it ordered, and in the next few weeks it'll arrive at your house. But also the pre-orders that you set, earlier on in the year for things that were announced last year or early this year are delivering or shipping, and they're charging you at the same time you're ordering all this other stuff. It's crazy. It's madness. So that's why I like to wait, and I like to see kind of what happens before I pre-order anything, because one thing that I try to do is I try to keep all my pre-orders under a certain amount, and I try to prepare for them in a timely manner. So like this year, I think I only had like 13 total, and I might have changed some of them because I know I've canceled some, but I've also added some as well. So in the grand scheme of things, uh, so if like shipping decides to overlap and I do have something shipped earlier than expected, then I'm okay. You know what I mean? I try to set myself up for things like that because you never know. I don't want to be hit with like a $200 charge because an entire wave of figures decided to ship, as well as another thing, or you know what I mean. And then there's also the unforeseeable, like car problems, house problems, things like that. Uh, typical budgeting stuff, but also broke people problems. Uh, well, not really broke, just trying to be responsible. Okay, trying to be responsible. But today, I just kind of want to talk about a few things that are on my mind involving the collecting stuff, everything that I follow. Uh, you know, DC Multiverse McFarlane. McFarlane's losing the license the end of this year. So he's pumping out a bunch of figures. I don't collect that line heavily. I've actually sold slash traded in a bunch of my other figures that I didn't really care for. So basically, I'm trying to stick to just Batman, and I don't have many. So it's like, to me, like it doesn't affect me, but I am sad that he's losing the license because I do like some of those figures. Uh, maybe that's controversial, but I mean, I think a lot of people actually do enjoy the line. But I do know like the standard for, especially like articulation and stuff, it's different when it comes to those figures, because to me, they're more of like pieces of art. They're not meant to like pose around like your Marvel Legends, Mafex, etc., because they just like their joints on some of their figures just don't look as pleasing. But then every now and then they drop a figure that looks absolutely stellar. It's kind of insane. But anyways, great figures that they're coming out with. The new Superman figures look awesome. So try to support DC Multiverse McFarlane before the license gets switched over back to Mattel. I know Marvel Legends had a bunch of great reveals. I'm not going to go into detail, but cool stuff, right? I mean, they're always going to have stuff. Every 2 weeks, I feel like they announce something new. So that's why I try not to get too deep into Marvel Legends. But I'm really going to talk about a lot of Star Wars, Transformers, and G.I. Joe, because that's my jam. That's where I live. And yeah, just a lot going on. So, sorry, I had to take a sip of my Pepsi in my 2008 Clone Wars cup. Oh, it says 2011 on the cup. Oops. Thought I had it longer than that. But anyways, guys. So right now, there are two Haslabs, okay? You have the LAC gunship, which currently is still funding. Slowly and steadily, we're getting a few more backers. There's 29 days left. So we all know how this works. Within the last couple of days, that's whenever the bulk of the backers will, put in. So currently there are 3,145 backers. They need 8,000, which is kind of normal for these things. To get all the tiers, so they did 3 figures for the tiers. All tiers is 14,000. So you're going to need 6,000 more backers in order to get the figures, all 3 of them. But in order, 10,000 is Coleman Trevor, 12,000 is Stacey 10, and 14,000 is Asian Kolar. I think those are great figures. I think they look awesome, and I love the features that the gunship has. I know a lot of people are complaining because it's $450, and that is like super steep. But I do think with inflation, the different capabilities and features the thing has, I'm not trying to say it's worth it, and I'm not going to tell you if that is priced correctly. I'm just going to say it makes sense to me. Okay, and that's just to me. But am I going to back it? Most likely not. Simply because 450 is probably too much for me. I just can't do it. Like, especially if I'm gonna back the other Haslab that I'm about to talk about. So I think it's amazing. Would I love to have it? Absolutely. I just don't have the space to display it, or I could if I really like dismantled entire shelves and stuff. But I would find a way to make it work, and I do think the piece is beautiful. I do think it is an awesome Haslab. For all the people that are saying they'd rather have a Sandcrawler, uh, cool, but I just think a LAT gunship is like way cooler in my opinion. I think that this is cooler. I know that for original trilogy fans, like you'd have the Sandcrawler, you got the sail barge, you got some awesome stuff. So I mean, well, you have the sail barge, you don't have a Sandcrawler. Like what I'm trying to say is I understand why you would want a Sandcrawler, but I just think the LAT gunship is just so much cooler. And I know people are trying to compare the price, saying, well, the last one we got was this much. Well, this one's also like way bigger and more to scale. And I don't think it's perfectly scaled, but it's still way better than what it was before. So this thing's going to be able to hold way more clone troopers. You're going to be able to change the panels. I mean, it looks really cool. You get the bubble turrets. So I think it looks amazing, but I do fear that it will not reach all the tiers. I just have a feeling it won't because of all the pushback right out the gate. But I really hope that it funds and at least reaches the base offering at 8,000. But I think it would be really cool to see everyone get those 3 Jedi. Because, I mean, come on. It's Coleman Trevor. Who doesn't like Coleman Trevor? So, also, the second Haslab we have is the Snowcat. And I know I'm going through this stuff. Basically, if you follow any of this, you've already heard all of this. I'm just talking about it just to give you guys my, just a few thoughts. So, the Snowcat, they needed 8,000 backers as well. $325. And we're already at 8,466 backers. So, we're there. It's funded. Only thing we need is the tiers. And just like the tiers for the gunship, it's the same for the Snowcat at, 10, 12, and 14,000. So if you didn't know, at 10,000 you get Lady J and a few accessories, or Winter Lady J, I should say, with like a coat and stuff, kind of like how you see her in the Sunbow cartoon, A Real American Hero. You also get the Bivouac Battle Station, which is really cool because you get like a tent, a campfire, comes with like a turret, like is it a rocket launcher turret? I can't remember exactly. Really cool. And then 14,000 we have Arctic Flint. And the only thing that I would say that I have a complaint with the tiers is that they all come with accessories that pair directly with one another, which is awesome. So it's kind of like I'm 50-50 on it. So like the reason why, and I'm pretty sure if, like I said, if you've watched anybody else talk about this, they've said the same thing. But the reason why I'm 50-50 on it is because they added certain accessories that goes directly into other features of the vehicle or the characters. You get what I'm saying? So you might get a piece of an accessory. Like, for example, the fish are in a different tier than the skewers that hold them, So it's like, if it doesn't back all the way, you might get one of the 2 items, and then you're kind of just left with just like a random fish. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I appreciate the confidence from Hasbro. Like, hey, it's going to fund because all the other Haslabs have been extremely successful for G.I. Joe Classified. But I think it's a great Haslab too. I think the Snowcat looks awesome. I mean, Frostbite looks great. The figures look great. I'm definitely considering this one. I think 325 is an easier pill to swallow than 450. Just looking at it money wise for me. I think that one's doable, especially with I just think, because Hasbro also doesn't have the licensing fee when it comes to G.I. Joe and Transformers, so that's another thing to keep in mind. I'm not saying that a licensing fee demands a $100 charge extra, on your Haslabs or whatever, but anyways, I'm just saying that they have a lot more leeway. They have a lot more freedom, is what I think personally. But, I don't know if that's true. But anyways, Snowcat looks great. Because I have skipped out, I've had FOMO on all of the previous G.I. Joe Haslabs. Like, I was so close to backing a Dragonfly, and I regret it to this day. I was so close to backing a His Tank, and I didn't. I backed the Rattler for my cousin, but I didn't back it. So it's like I've missed out on all the other ones, and I think this one is just unique. I don't know, something about it is calling to me. But also on the classified note, if you pre-ordered the 91 Snake Eyes, Major Blood, was it Battle Armor Cobra Commander, and Monkey Wrench, those are shipping early. So I already got my 91, was it V4 Snake Eyes, and he looks amazing. He's actually really good. Only complaint I have is the holster. It's just like an open flap. It doesn't really hold his SMG that well, but it's there. But it doesn't really bother me because I'm going to have him holding the gun anyways. But it would have been nice for this to be more secure. But otherwise, great figure. Looks fantastic, and he poses really good. His joints are buttery smooth. So I do like this figure a lot. And I think my Major Blood and Battle Armor Cobra Commander are set to deliver middle of September. And Monkey Wrench is a little bit further out. His date hasn't changed. But just keep an eye out if you pre-order those figures through Amazon. That's where I pre-order most of my figures. They'll be coming a little bit early. So that's awesome. So if we go into Transformers, I know a lot of people are getting Studio Series 86 Megatron. I did not pre-order him, and I don't know if I'm going to buy him or not if he's available. He looks great. I think it's a step in the right direction as far as the robot mode. I do like that he's a tank. A lot of people do not like that. But the thing is guys, Hasbro's never going to do another gun Megatron. Let's just be honest. They've stated that they can't. So I am fine with that because I think it makes more sense that Megatron would turn into a tank or a jet. I actually prefer him. Like, as I'm getting older, I prefer him as a tank. So I think that's actually really cool. I think they did a really great job with this Megatron. He looks great, but I know that people are like, some people's copies, the legs, like the front flaps on the legs of their Megatron don't tab in all the way. So that's kind of loose on theirs. And I've also seen some QC issues when it comes to the paint for the elbows. And people say the proportions aren't necessarily right for the arms. It's really just the torso and the head and maybe the legs. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. I hope everyone that gets it enjoys theirs. I might get it. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think about Studio Series 86 Megatron. Also about Studio Series 86, all of the Constructicons are shipping earlier than we imagined. So I just wanted to show off the Constructicons I've received. So, first off, I think I got Scrapper and Bone Crusher first, literally within days of each other. They are fantastic on their own. I know that a lot of people are really complaining about Bone Crusher and Scavenger because their treads do not have wheels. And the Combiner Wars figures, what was that? Gosh, that was almost 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago, right? 9 or 10 years ago where they did the Combiner Wars Devastator. They had wheels in their treads, so you could roll them around when you transformed them. But I do think these robot modes are superior than the Combiner Wars versions, so these look great. And then next, I got Hook and Long Haul. And again, these things look amazing in robot mode and vehicle mode. So these are super cool. I mean, I just love how chonky this Long Haul is. He's so cool, man. So beefy. And I also have like their accessories, like the connector pieces and stuff. So that's very exciting. And then just a couple days ago, when I got Snake Eyes, I also got Scavenger the same day. I was not expecting him to get here that soon. And he looks really cool. And by far, I think he has the coolest weapon. His gun looks so cool because he has like this little magazine on the side of it. It's really sweet. So yeah, we're getting a bunch of the pieces of the Constructicons. Looks absolutely fantastic. I think it's great. And then I'm hoping that I get Mixmaster soon because I want to build Devastator. This is like monumental to me. This is my first ever Devastator that I'm building. And I'm super excited. I've always wanted a Devastator, and I think it'll be super cool. I know so many people are already transforming these guys to make the components. So they're just like leaving a giant Devastator without a leg or an arm. And I'm like, I don't want to be that person, you know, because then I'm kind of like spoiling myself of the surprise. I want to wait till all the elements are here. So all 6 are in my house. And then I could transform them and put them together and make Devastator all in one piece without his arm or his leg missing, you know? So that's my goal. I'm super excited for that. And so far, just judging by the individual Decepticons, Constructicons themselves, I am pleased. I'm happy. So I'm kind of glad I went with Studio Series 86. Anyways, as far as new Black Series figures, I'm not ordering much, and I haven't bought much. I did pre-order the Lieutenant Gale, and I'm getting that new Sand Trooper for sure. So those are coming late this year, November. As far as Marvel Legends go, I did the Born Again Daredevil. He's set for November as well. And I know for Classified, out of the new figures they just announced, the only ones I pre-ordered was the Grim Viper and Sci-Fi, because I really want Sci-Fi to go with my Lowlight. And the Grim Viper, because I missed out on literally every other Range Viper body mold figure, I need it. I just love the skull head. I need something of that mold. And I thought that this one was like a really cool deco. I think all of them have been great. I'm not one to say, you know, one is extremely better than the other. I think they're kind of on par for me. But I still think the original Range Viper is the coolest. Just because the color deco, that bright blue with black and the red eyes, that's so menacing. But I do think this Grim Viper is kind of like the most realistic you know, take like as far as like color scheme, because he's like camoed out. I think he looks super cool, and he comes with a giant Gatling gun that Roadblock has. So yeah, super excited for that. There's also been so many other reveals that I probably just can't think about. I know I've just been seeing so many cool figures, man. There's just so much stuff. Like if you're a collector of all of these lines, let me know how you feel. How does your wallet feel? How does your bank account feel? How does your family feel? Or your significant other? Because it is a lot. It's definitely a problem, because I'm not like a focus collector. I don't do like just Star Wars or just G.I. Joe or just Transformers. I've contemplated it, but I'm like, I just can't. Like, I'd rather just get my favorites from each line and then just be happy with that, because I don't need everything from a line, you know? So I don't know. It's a weird dilemma. But anyways, I think I'm done with the figure talk. And I don't even want to talk about Lego Star Wars, because these prices are just insane. Like, I love some of these new sets, but I also totally hate some of these new sets. Like that new Clone Turbo Tank. Man, dude, it is $160 and it looks pitiful. Like minifigures are great, but the tank itself is just bad. I'm fine with my 2010 Turbo Tank, my Lego one. I don't think they will ever make a better one unless they do like a UCS or something. But yeah, we just don't even want to touch Lego Star Wars. That's just out of my price range. I'd rather buy Classified, Black Series, and Transformers at this point. But guys, I think that'll be it. Let me know how you feel about all these reveals. Oh, I forgot. The Duel on Mustafar set. Yeah, I missed out on it 2 or 3 times already. Yeah, ever since it's been back in stock. I don't know if they're going to put it back in stock. You guys let me know. I'm going to try not to get too heated over that, because it is like a $110 set. It looks amazing, but if I miss out, I miss out. You know, it is what it is. I don't really need it. I'm kind of debating, you know, whether I should try to get it or not. But, you know, whole discussion for another time. But anyways, I hope you guys are able to get that if you wanted it. So, now I think I'm done. I think I'm done yapping. I think we got through everything. Let me know what you guys think of all the reveals. Let me know what you think of all your new figures that you got coming in, whether it's Black Series, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel Legends, DC, Masters of the Universe, Turtles. Let me know what the consensus is. I like to keep up with these things. I like to know what's good, you know, what's awesome, what what I should go for. You know what I mean? Because that helps me make decisions on what figure to buy next. Anyways, I think that'll be all, guys. Again, you guys stay blessed, and remember, stay frosty.